I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes, August 13th.
Go Eagles. Hi, I know, go Eagles. I know it's breaking protocol, but I have to run an Eagle to a vet hospital in Chester County. Guys, I wanted to let you know that we're having some serious issues with our water system here. I probably had Mark Heyman on the phone 10 times in the last month, and he was gracious enough to give me all the advice he could. He said, I'm going to make a water technician out of you yet, Franklin. Mm-hmm. We had issues with dirty water. We had issues with no water pressure. Our pressure tank went to nothing, then it came back up. And now the biggest issue that we've got, we heard running water in the closet in there. And I looked in the salt tank, and in a month, it completely depleted every grain of salt. There's nothing but chlorine water in the tank. So I called him, he said, it sounds like you have a stuck valve on the back of the recirculating system or the refreshing system. And I said, well, we need to get it fixed because we're getting full chlorine water out and I can't run our saline tank. I said, what's it going to cost us? He said, yeah, you're probably looking at about $350 to $400 for me to come up and change those valves. And I said, all right, I have to check with the board. And he said, well, tell the board if that's running constantly, it's filling your septic tank, and that's about what it's costing them to empty that. Mm-hmm. So we got to get him up to get it. And he said he's a week out if I call him today, till he can get here. But we need to get I just wanted to see if we could call him and get him up here to get our water system looked at. But we've been having issues for quite a while now.
Yeah, I spoke to you yesterday, Franklin. Yeah. I said, contact Heyman and get a price for us, and then we'll move on it.
He said like $350 or $400. So that's why I had him call me last night.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll call him. Thank you.
That's what I told him yesterday.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Approval of minutes.
I can't approve, so you guys have to.
I'll approve. Weren't you here the last meeting?
No, I'm the second.
Oh, that's right.
I'll second it.
Properly moved and second. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Vouchers.
August expenses totaling $72,581.47.
If there's no questions, I make a motion to approve.
Second. Properly moved and second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Park operations.
Commissioner.
Oh, I forgot.
You
Chris.
Just simply want to publicly acknowledge the current park staff and the seasonal employees who came in during this season to make it what I think most people would see as a very successful beach season at Mock Chunk Lake Park. Of course, there's always some difficulty, specifically there at the very end when we were dealing with some weather problems, but just our appreciation to everyone who made it a successful season out there. That's all I have.
I second that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, David.
Okay, park operations. For general discussion, we talked about having some follow-up discussion on the lights in the park at a formal meeting, a formal setting. So that's where we're at right now. We did not receive the special activities agreement yet from the Raising the House. It was sent to them with special conditions that the county had put in there, requirements that they would have to meet. One was it had to be approval would be conditional on Summit Hill Borough, Jim Thorpe Borough approval. The insurance requirements would have to be met not only for Raising the House, but for Riley's Home Decor. The county, I believe, would reserve the right to cancel the event, the drive-through display, you know, for whatever reason, you know, whether it be inclement weather, whether it would be, you know, I guess lack of help if they didn't have enough help to run the event. That was another special condition that was put in there, as well as, you know, a few other conditions that would have to be met. Any access to buildings, if they wanted access to buildings, would have to, you know, would require approval of, you know, of the county. Since the presentation, I did get an email, although I didn't get a special activity agreement. I did get a request wanting to know if it would be possible to open up the bathrooms, restroom facilities, shower facilities, and 2 pavilions, access to electricity. They talked about utilizing generators, and they're not saying that they won't be able to use generators. They want to cut it down from 8 generators to 6 generators. Now, I will tell you that the electricity at the 1 pavilion, we don't have power there right now. We're having an issue with the line underground, which I'll explain more under park maintenance.
Well, I have something I'd like to say. I don't know if the county has access, or we could get a car counter to count the number of vehicles that would roll through, just so we have an idea. I know PennDOT has them. You lay a hose down a counter, maybe they would loan us one if they didn't have one. And the method of paying people that want to come in that didn't register, pre-register, I think we ought to have the ability to accept payments from people that didn't pre-register.
I believe they're planning on
They
that.
will
They're
have
planning
that.
on using the admissions booth, so anticipating people that will show up with cash and not have a prepayment where they could scan the ticket. So they are planning on using the booth for the cash payments.
And as far as our bathrooms, they'll be winterized, correct?
They just want the electricity access. You know, they just want, yeah.
Should they have to provide a job, Johnny, just in case someone has an emergency?
They already have a plan for portalets to be placed.
At the beginning, at the first
beginning.
aid station,
Yeah,
they would have porta-johns.
right, yeah.
And do we think about, like, paying on the way out or on the way in, so we don't have a traffic backup?
No, their plan is primarily online reservation. The backup to those who happen to come up without previously reserving will be at the booth. The beach parking area will also be used as a holding area for any potential backup also.
Yeah, the original proposal that they came to us with was they talked about Boat Launch A, and I think I explained this to everybody over the phone, where they Boat Launch A was out of the question. Fish and Boat Commission approval, wasn't going to happen for that staging area. So they are now proposing to use the beach parking lots as the staging area, where I guess they would funnel cars into the parking lots at the beach area, and in so many minutes they would leave cars out.
And are we gonna do, like, if there's a snow event, are we gonna clear the parking lots so they can do that? Is that our responsibility?
That's from what I gathered. It would be the county's responsibility to handle any snow removal, road maintenance, road treatment.
Because I guess it'll be, put your lights out when you get in line, because you don't want people pushing people through with a car with lights on behind you.
Yeah, they normally do that
Put the lights out.
types of
Or
programs.
go to parking lights only.
Yeah.
Is what they.
Because I know on the road nowadays, you can't go down the road without someone tailgating. It's just insane anymore. Everybody wants to tailgate anymore. It's terrible.
Chris, I have a question here for you.
Yes, sir.
Did the commissioners talk this over at all?
Yes,
What's the consensus down there?
very supportive.
All three?
Very supportive. Yep. Now, again, it hasn't come to a public vote, and until it comes to a public vote, but I will tell you, extremely supportive. How can we help them get this this on the agenda. So there can be a public vote, and that's obviously the special activities request.
Right.
They were at the Jim Thorpe Borough Council meeting last night. They were asked to come and they did present. I left before their presentation. But they are moving forward because they did talk about the special activities request date. So they are,
Yeah.
you know, getting all their ducks in order.
Did Jim Thorpe Borough take any action on it, or no? It was just
I
a
left before that. I was there for another reason, but we had a conversation. Riley's were there and raised the house. The same who were here.
So yeah, the road maintenance, that would be our responsibility, and that another, you know, condition that was put in the special activity agreement was reimbursement. At the end of the duration, the event, you know, following January 2nd, they would be, you know, more or less invoiced for whatever expenses we incurred, and they, you know, they would have so many days to reimburse us.
I guess the county could help out with that also, right? Sending a plow up or something, or do we have the capability to do that?
Well,
Have a plow truck?
yeah, we don't have a spreader.
We have one of
But
the
they-
spreader down below.
They use the one from downtown, the spreader. But plows, yeah, we have trucks with plows on. Right now, it's one full-time employee. We have, you know, one other one that's out on FMLA. He's been out for a while, so he is expected back on September 13th. So that would give us, you know, our full-time staffing, which would be two seasonals. We've never had seasonals come in to, you know, to plow roads. You know, we have two seasonal maintenance workers.
Have we ever plowed the camping area?
No, I believe we had to get down to the cabins the one year for something where it snowed in October. It was, you know, normally you don't get 10 inches of snow in October, but I remember we had to get in there, and I think they actually they started plowing and ran into some difficulty with pushing. You know, whether it's the trees on the side or whatever it was, but they had to use the tractor to eventually, you know, get down there, kind of like take the snow and dump it to the sides. And if I remember correctly, that was a long time ago.
Does anybody know who's gonna direct traffic out on Glenn's Trail?
Fire police.
That was the last conversation they had was. Now I've heard Summit Hill Fire Police, Jim Thorpe Fire Police, but the latest was County Fire
County
Police is
Fire,
what,
yeah.
you know, the organization that was named.
Yeah. Both Jim Thorpe and Summit Hill chiefs of police were at the discussion that was held at the county.
Is Jim Thorpe gonna have fire police till then?
I know they stood up an organization, but again, as Dave mentioned, it's the county firemen's, you know, fire
Yeah, they
police.
take a couple from each.
Yeah.
Each town.
district.
Yeah.
Do we know if they have commitment from the fire police to? We don't know that.
I don't, you know,
Most of them guys are pretty old. And
yeah. Well, they do. I mean, look, they just did they just did the fair, right? You know what I mean? And they're gonna do fall foliage in Jim Thorpe. All right, they're gonna be used that whole month also. You know.
But
Do
I'm
you think
thinking
we
the
need a
middle of
car
winter.
counter? Is that something we should have?
Huh?
A car counter? Should we know how many cars go through? Would it,
They're gonna be counting them. I'm sure if we want that data for some reason, they would provide it.
Yeah.
To me, I don't see
There
the,
seems to be an awful lot of, what I call, from my leadership, and going back with Tommy, decades as chair here and as a member of the board, I've always protected the park. In other words, this park is for, you know, its natural beauty. I use it most days of the week. If you ever drive through the camping area, you know, there's gonna have cars, there's gonna be BMWs, and there's gonna be all kinds of cars going through, plus the wear and tear, you know, in that area. If there's an accident in there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come in from the backside
if you
in
can
and
get
tow
in,
them
'cause
out,
the
and that's
cars are
gonna hold
be out.
everything
Well,
up.
all I'm saying, I'm not saying yay or nay here. I'm saying there's a lot of, oh, by the way, could we could, oh, by the way, could we use that? So I would be, you know, very much in favor having that formal request with everything on it. Is the park getting compensated? That it shows that we're asking them, we're talking here in speculation, and it comes down to a formal request where all this information should be documented, and that's where we're at, correct?
Awaiting the formal request.
So
Yeah.
that's where, you know, because there's questions being answered here that we don't know. I think so, or
Right.
I think, oh, by the way, they want this, oh, by the way, they want that. I mean, this is a big deal. I know it, I've been in metros, I lived in metros that ran this for years, and I know what it can generate, the volumes, but you hear what I'm saying, metro. Metro, Allentown, Boston, you know, all of those, and it's just, I'm concerned for the safety of everybody involved. I'm concerned about the realism of the roads in the camping area. If we don't approve the camping area, then it's a straight shot through, you know, they got a short run. And I know the displays, I mean, are they gonna go into the camping sites with the displays, because you can't go on the road with them? So what I'm looking for is it all coming together, and hopefully the request sheet has all crossed the T's and I's, all the questions that are being raised here on.
Well, they better do that soon, time's getting short.
Well, I agree. I
mean, if we gotta vote this, they better get it in here in a hurry.
Well, one of my things is too, on Christmas Eve, I don't think him or the maintenance guys or whatever should work for less than double and a half time on Christmas Eve. Or take Christmas Eve out of the program. That's a sacred night there. And I don't think they should have to, if they are gonna be forced to work Christmas Eve, then there gotta be a substantial pay package that goes with. Because your maintenance guys, you'll have to change the schedule on them to do that. The union might have something to say about that. And
Yeah, if they're
I just
needed.
can't see working on Christmas Eve for straight time or however it is. I mean, down where I work, well, I retired from Northampton County, and if we worked any time on Christmas Eve after 2 p.m., that was double and a half time. And I think they deserve that for,
Oh, okay.
I don't know what these big numbers are, and then you go.
Oh, got it. Yeah, wow.
So I don't know what it represents.
Yeah.
So they did talk about not Christmas Eve. I think was one day that they were considering doing it. It was Christmas Day, New Year's Day. Christmas Eve was the other one.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, New Year's Eve, you know, if the county were to approve it, you know, I don't know how many people are going to be out on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Again, it comes down to a formal request where we could go line item for each of these and make, you know,
Right.
amendments on them if necessary, as necessary.
I'd say Christmas Eve should not be part of the program.
I agree with that.
I mean, if you don't come
100%.
Christmas
And I-
Eve, you're gonna
that's
come
what I
the night
basically
before,
told
the
him.
day after. Who wants to make someone work on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, exactly.
How about New Year's Eve?
That's kind of, you know, New Year's don't mean much to me anymore.
I think what you'll see about Christmas Eve, I think they'll recognize, if not already thinking,
Hey.
they want to be home with their
Yeah.
families. I think you will see that'll
Yeah.
play out
Right.
as
Right.
they start working through that, you know, and,
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
not their first rodeo, and
Right.
I think they,
Yeah.
don't know what.
Yeah, it is.
They'll make
well,
it.
for Raise the House it is.
Oh,
You know, for Raise the
Well,
House,
they're
not
not
for
really-
Riley's,
Yeah.
Riley, but again, I think that one will naturally say, you know what? Why would we want to do this? They're not going to probably have the coverage. The fire police aren't going to want to be out there Christmas Eve either. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
that's naturally, I think that.
Do you have any idea how many volunteers this outfit has?
Raise the House is going to have enough volunteers from multiple organizations to meet the requirements to safely run it.
You think so?
Yep,
Well,
absolutely.
again, it should come to it would be nice to see, here's what we have, here's the people, here's the, in black and white.
We should check this off kinda where we could provide power to them, so they know what they're up against. You know, where we have power available.
Well, they're gonna have to come in and explain that somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, if we marked it on this map, which pavilions would have power?
Yeah, but I don't even know what they mean. What are the big numbers and then there's small numbers? I mean, what do they mean?
There's about 35 displays and all.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty,
Yeah, they were talking about 6 generators as opposed to 8 generators, so they said the first 2 pavilions and then the restrooms and shower facilities is what they were looking for, power source.
What stage is the activity request in?
It was sent out to them with the special conditions, and we're awaiting the submission of the special
And
activity
this was-
agreement.
I know we're getting a special one.
Did you see this,
From-
Chris?
It's not a
I
regular
know, yeah.
one that we would normally
Okay,
have, it
thanks.
was modified, is that correct?
Well, it's the same one that we have, with the exception that there's a section special conditions, and that's where the county
And
put,
like an addendum to it?
just put in
Well, the
special
solicitor
conditions,
had-
special list of requirements. Yeah, one was that the county would reserve the right to, cancel the event, for whatever reason. I would imagine, whether it be in inclement weather, or if for some reason that Raising the House doesn't have enough
Yeah.
volunteers or help to run it.
So who would enforce that?
It just said the county, so I'm not sure if,
That's my question. Who is the county badge?
huh?
Who is the county badge? Who would make that call?
I would probably say between myself and the commissioners,
Be a
ultimate,
recommendation from Dave to the Board of Commissioners.
yeah. Ultimately, it's the county commissioners. I would say decision. If it reads county, that would, to me, means county commissioners.
Yep.
But I'm hearing that you would have to initiate.
You'd have to make a recommendation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just so you're aware.
Yeah, but you might not know that until the night of a certain day of the event. You might have, let's say, a Tuesday night, and how many people don't show up or whatever, and you have people stacking up. Then what do you do?
Send them through.
Yeah.
So if this does come through between now and the October meeting, there's going to be certain questions I'm hearing that you're going to want me to ask,
Well,
so that they're prepared to answer the questions at the board meeting if it comes to a vote.
Well, maybe we should have, if it comes through and it's not satisfactory, maybe we should have a special meeting.
yeah, that's what we would have to do.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Now I know, Tom, you mentioned about PennDOT. Was there any conversation about PA Department of Transportation, at least maybe not so much approval, but notifying them in the event, because they're going to be maybe having to treat roads, just so that they're aware of it?
I would expect PennDOT not to go out of their way beyond what their modus operandi, their normal
Right.
operating procedures are. They don't go out of their way for any other event except maybe some signage. There was no discussion that I heard about notifying PennDOT. However, I would expect that would be a prudent measure to take.
Yes.
Again, the Lens Trail, White Bear would have
Well,
potential for
traditionally-
increased traffic, so I'm sure D5, that would be prudent that, notify D5,
Traditionally, Lynch Trail is the last road service
Yeah.
in the county. Broadway.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. Sometimes when I'm going home,
Right, well, I am too, cause
I'm driving through a couple
Yeah.
inches of snow.
right. Yeah, they really, Lynch Trail gets pushed back to the, why, I don't know.
Sometimes I get lucky and they go by at like
Yeah.
4:15, but yeah, you don't see them on the on the trail much.
Well, I don't know if it has something to do with Broadway or what, but, when we do our plow ride, I'm going through snow sometimes.
And I would imagine in that case it would be more than likely we would cancel it. If we were dealing with
Well, if they
An
can get to the
impending
park,
snowstorm.
they'll make it through.
What?
If they can get to the park, they'll make it through the park.
Well, they'll make it to that yellow gate that's
Yeah,
closed, is
yeah.
where they'll make it to, right, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything to add or concerns or want to discuss something more?
Can't wait to take my grandkids through there.
So where we're at is, waiting for the special request, at which time we can call an executive session or a special meeting.
Yep,
Then we'll see the line items.
yep. So, you might as well go on so we get that. Might as well
Okay.
go on to the next.
The Powwow Festival is this upcoming weekend from 10 to 6. They're out there. They were there yesterday, actually. So they are starting to get set up for the festival. They have 12 crafters, 2 food vendors. Porta Johns were delivered on Wednesday. The field it's very sensitive yet. It's very wet, soft. From the rain that we had, not just from Ida, but we had a rain event too unfortunately on Wednesday night. So, I was talking with the one individual this morning for setup and just, encourage them to try to minimize the amount of vehicles that we have driving on the field if you can. So, because it is soft. We were able to get the grass cut, have a little bit of trimming to do, but it's very, 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 very soft. The ground is very, very soft. It's a 2-day event this year. Runs tomorrow and Sunday. Last year, I heard that they had a good turnout. I'm not sure. I will be working this weekend, so I'm looking forward to seeing how many people they have coming to the event. We do have people camping with us that are there specifically for the Powwow Festival, tent sites and cabins. So that'll be this upcoming weekend. Porta Johns that were delivered, we'll leave them they're in the same spot for the Heritage Festival, which I'll be talking about that under maintenance, which we might as well move on to park maintenance this upcoming week. Next week, the whole week will be devoted for getting the park ready for the Heritage Festival. We picked up a few more food vendors and some crafters. Some that have been with us, before. They'll work on getting the stage together. That takes time to get the stage together and get everything decorated, fields cut. But the maintenance staff will be spending the majority of the time during the week, aside from cleaning and the routine maintenance, getting the field prepared for the event for next Saturday.
Maybe you can lure some of the vendors in for next week that are here already.
Yeah, the problem there might be though if they have enough time to get the vending permit
Right.
from Jim Thorpe Borough. Even though they have it for the Powwow Festival, they would have to get it for September 18th unless they had like an annual permit, like the one that does the hot dogs every year at the at the field. They're also down at the Josiah White Park, so they have what's called like an annual permit, so they don't have to get anything separate to be out at the park for the Heritage Festival. But we will maybe get their information for possibly next year. I know Missy has a couple new food vendors lined up already for next year, so we kind of have a jump start on it, for next year. We're a little bit late planning this year because everything was closed back in February and March when, we would normally start to plan for this. We had 2 pumps. We're only operating on, actually we weren't operating on any pumps at the beach area the one day, we noticed. Fortunately, the weather didn't cooperate that day, so we didn't have anybody in the park. It was on a Wednesday, I remember, because I think they had the Wild Wednesday program at the beach pavilion. But site specific was called in. I'm told that 2 of the pumps, are going to need to be replaced. The other 2 pumps they were able to work on and get them running. So we're operating on 2 pumps at the beach right now. So I will be budgeting for new pumps, for at least 4 new pumps for the beach area. And, I'll reach out to, I don't know whether it's something with the winterization process or if it's, like I explained, we had people flushing adult diapers down the toilets at the main shower building, and they were all entangled in the pumps. There was another situation where they're crumbling up paper towels and flushing the paper towels down the toilet, but
Yeah, but that usually will trip an overload. It usually don't put a pump down for a count.
yeah,
A lot of times we'll pull a pump and pull a wipe out of the bottom and away it goes again.
yeah,
But they also have a jog switch on them. Sometimes you get a wipe in there and you jog it, it breaks it loose and sends it on its way.
mhm.
So, I don't know, but I can't get over how these pumps are failing.
I mentioned we do have a power issue at the Agnes McCartney Pavilion. It was towards the end of the season. There were a few reservations that we had to work with. One we moved to the Ginder Vermilion Pavilion was available, so we moved them to another pavilion. Another one was going to be canceling anyway due to COVID concerns. We are starting to see that now with some camping reservations where people are, a little bit hesitant to want to camp, be around crowds. So we're getting people who are canceling, not many, but there's some that are canceling tent sites. There was a few tent site reservations, and the one also had cabins. The one pavilion did cancel.
I know that the guys had mentioned previously about a reservation cancellation fee, right? And we have none, is that correct?
No, yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah.
And what is it?
Well, if they cancel within 10 days of the arrival
Right.
date, there's no refund.
Okay. Right.
If they
Within
give
10 days.
if
Okay,
they give
got
us
it.
if they give us at least 10 days notice
Yeah.
in advance,
Yeah,
where we have an
okay.
opportunity to
Okay.
rent it,
Yeah.
then we actually keep. They'll lose one night,
Right.
but they'll get the rest back.
Oh, okay.
But within 10 days of the arrival date, we don't offer refunds. Unless it's for some extenuating circumstance where we might work with them, particularly ones that have been with us for a while. But we try to stick to the cancellation policy as much as we can. Staffing, I talked about, we had one out on FMLA. Another seasonal, we'll probably be losing him at the end of September because he's going to hit that 1,000 hours threshold for seasonal maintenance positions. So we'll be losing another one. There's one that's working with us. He's in high school workforce training. They provided us with an employee, so he'll be ending soon too as well. So we'll be down to the 2 full-time and then the one seasonal maintenance worker probably for October. So we'll be a little bit thin in October. And we do want to get to the lighting at the boat launches. We talked about renting a bucket truck. We're having issues with the lights at the boat ramps, and it's been on the list. So hopefully, as time permits, we don't have as much going on routine maintenance-wise with, we don't have the beach area, so and the picnic area is pretty thin. So we don't have as much trash removal at this time of the year as we would, say, back in July and August. Bathrooms tend to be, the crowds are lighter, and the crowds, the people tend to be more respectful, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So with the less routine maintenance needs, maybe we can get on these, at least Jack, get on the lights at the boat launches. We've had that on our list for quite some time. Probably see where we can borrow some money because we've been doing budget transfers, and I know Miss Missy has been, bombarded with budget transfers and pulling money from one expense to account from another, which happens. But we would like to get that done at the lighting at the boat launches.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the Fish Commission, do they touch base with you with the sightings and citations? given on the lake? Do we get a report on?
He doesn't. Scott doesn't give me a report, but I did talk to him yesterday, and he was out. And he was out quite a bit, over the Labor Day weekend because of with the fact that Beltsa was closed, their boat ramps were closed. So he was out on the lake quite a bit, and my conversation with him over the phone is he had a number of violations, is what he said, and I had asked, and he said safety violations. He had some people that were fishing without a license. Those two individuals actually were camping with us, and also launch permits. That's another common one. Where somebody doesn't have the proper launch permit. So he said there.
I'm on the lake most days of the week, and I see people. I'm not an officer out there, but and I don't even warn them. But you can see no life preservers, not the right, too many people in a boat. I see all that. But I'm just curious what he's citing for.
Well, he was on the ball this weekend. I seen him out there. Like he stopped every kayak, everybody that was on the water. He stopped them. Yeah.
We always had good relationships. So in fact, that was Sally Coral. She'd come to the meetings. In fact, because there's better issues too, rather than just the enforcement. There's also the fish issues. It would be nice to get walleye back in the lake and have those conversations. It just seems to be heavily weighted towards enforcement than
Well, that he would have to talk to that would probably be the biologist as far as what species they stock in the lake. And I know they haven't put walleye in for a long time.
Tommy, remember we had I was on the board at that time. We had the forestry people come in because we wanted to do some harvesting. And but it would be great to put them on the agenda at some point. If Scott's not the person, if we could get to the person, the biologist or whatever, to come in and kind of explain that, because as we talked about before the meeting, it's just for everybody. I'm catching 3 to 5 pickerel to every bass, and the pickerel just eats stuff up.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious about the balance of the lake, and I used to catch walleyes as big as my arm, and now nobody's catching them. I haven't caught them. Even muskie used to be in there, so I'm curious, but it would be fun to, for the benefit of the fishing folks here, to get a sense of what the lake looks like.
I'll talk to Scott and see who it is, and see if we can't get him here for a meeting. If not, I can have Scott come in if the other they did a trapping survey. They did net trapping.
Right.
This was a couple of years ago, and we're
Shock the water.
they did that too. Yeah, and it was the biologists that do that, and we're still waiting for those those survey results.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, there was an older gentleman that he would come to faithfully every week wanting to know if we got the results, because he was interested, and a lot of people are interested in that, as are we.
Yeah.
And for every week he would come in, and it's like, no, we don't have them yet, and this was like 2 years ago. We're still, and Bernie will check it every now and again. He'll be on their website to see if those results were put in there yet, and they're not there. So, but I'll reach out to Scott. I'll see who the individual is. See if we can't get him to a meeting, and if that person's unavailable, we could have Scott come.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I'd appreciate that.
I have a question for the commissioner. With this labor shortage going on, you can't make an exception to that 1,000-hour rule so that people don't have to go, that they can still help them out?
Well, they actually can go up to, what ends up happening, the 1,000 hours is a policy. It's a county policy that they have the opportunity to come on the retirement plan once it hits 1,000. I think 1,560, it goes to medical benefits. There's always exceptions to policy. So I would say request it. it comes in front of that would probably be maybe a salary board issue, or it may be just the commissioners. It doesn't matter, the commissioners are 3 or 4 of the salary board, if that's the case. But if that's the desire, then I would say request it, and then we would have to entertain it and see what the impact is.
Yeah, because these aren't normal times, you know what I
Right,
mean? It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah.
Then you could have more fun at the salary board like you did yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know, you should, don't watch Blue Ridge Cable, watch the actual streaming, because I'll tell you, it was good. It was a good one. We need excitement like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it makes it interesting.
Under maintenance, the only other thing, guys, the shoreline trail, we want to get back on the shoreline trail as soon as we can, as time permits. We had to kind of just leave that, as the season, as we got closer to the camping season, the busier part of the season, we just simply didn't have, number one, we didn't have the help, and then it became, we just didn't have the time to, to get on it. So we want to get back on the shoreline trail and just finish up that, that section that we were working on with the walkways. And there's quite a bit of trail work that could be done, once we hit after camping season closes. We talked about going down below the dam, the switchback trail below the dam is getting tight in some areas, so really get down there and cut it back, widen it.
Was there water damage down there with the flood?
On the lower switchback trail, I got to get down there yet and take a look at it. But to my knowledge, no. I haven't heard any reports of any damage. I know, Jack and the maintenance guys were out, and we were out in the main park area. I don't know if you saw the upper switchback trail, Earl, how it held up.
There's a couple spots. I mean, I go down there with my rake and try and keep the water where it's supposed to be.
But no major flood damage.
Not
No.
major, no.
Yeah.
A lot of four-wheeler action. But,
Yeah.
there is money. I mean, if we can't beat them, maybe we should join them. There's money.
There's just a
money
big
to-
announcement in the last couple
Yeah,
of
to
weeks
make that
about.
happen,
Yeah.
But just a thought. But something I wanted to touch on with maintenance was, and I did a couple of months ago, is the safety program for these guys to be wearing safety glasses while they're weed whacking and lawn mowing, and not just safety glasses, but to have a little weekly talk in the shop for,
Yeah, I did
some
discuss
type of
that with.
safety program going on, cause I see guys out there without, and it makes me crazy when I see
Right.
guys without safety gear on, and, you lose an eye, and it's not I saw 2 guys lose an eye, and, it's not a pleasant thing, and one of them had safety glasses on, but it's, a very simple measure to take to protect the workers and maybe reduce our insurance rates in the long run or something. I don't know if you have something like that in place where Jack would, talk to the guys or you would talk to all of the guys and, there's like a J.J. Keller book out there that goes over safety and all the, requirements that should be followed. There's a lot of stuff you don't think of that could save
Right.
a lot of headache. Very simple things. Not expensive either. But, I worked for Bethlehem Steel. It was drilled into me, and I drill it into our guys, and they wear their safety glasses, and they're hearing protection, and, thank God we hadn't had any injuries like that, but.
Yeah, we had a park ranger, he
Goes
was
a long
going
way.
through the camping area, and, what was his name? And the branch came up and gave him a fractured skull, that would have been terrible.
Oh, yeah. I broke a stick. We were standing around a campfire, broke a stick, and a piece of that stick went and hit my friend in the eye, and he hit the ground. I was like, what happened? And he was like, oh my God. He was okay, but
Yeah,
the simplest thing, you could take an eye out, Pair of safety glasses, $5. Make sure they have them on. Give them heck if they don't. It's a good start, especially with a weed whacker or a lawnmower.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And when you're mowing lawn, if there's people standing around, I mean, that thing shoots out.
exactly.
But, a little safety program would be nice.
No, I'll follow up with Jack. Yeah, and last we talked about it. I had a discussion with him, and the others were sitting in the shop too, and he was going to follow up. So,
Yeah.
I'll
Just a couple words once in a while.
let him know that they obviously they need a little reminder.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really see anyone lately, weed whacking, but I haven't seen anyone weed whacking, but
Right.
One time I did, and they didn't have, you watch these home improvement shows on TV, and they're cutting with a circular saw, and no one has safety glasses on, and they're on national television.
Remember Mr. McGee?
Oh, yeah.
He always said safety first.
Oh, yeah.
And then he died. This was our shop teacher. And he passed away with cancer. And the first guy who came in to relieve him laid all 4 fingers on the tables.
Oh, yeah.
And he drilled it into us.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. McGee.
Yeah.
So, hay rides, they still go. I know Ricky ran them, but when was the last time we did the hay rides?
We haven't done them in a number of years, because we just don't have.
I see the wagon there, but
Yeah, we don't. Well, that's the thing. The wagon got to the point where the guys who were running the hay rides weren't too comfortable with pulling a wagon full of people.
Yeah.
They felt it was a safety issue, and I really don't want to put somebody in the position to do hay rides when they feel that it's they're concerned with it because they.
What happened to Joe Boyle?
that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, we had one ranger. We probably still have one ranger that'll do the hay rides, but he hit the bridge, the big bridge below the dam. He had because I guess it toggles a little bit, and it hit the bridge. Thank God that the wheel didn't go over the edge, and
Right.
and so we kind of just plus it wasn't as popular as it used to be years ago. When fall hay rides came out, it was kind of a unique thing that the park did, I guess. But Halloween has become really what's the word, commercialized, where you have these corn mazes and all these Halloween festivals. Service team, they have a big thing going on. So I guess there was.
A lot of these big farms.
Yeah, you have a lot of competition. So for what we were getting out of it and what we were putting into it, and plus the fact that the ones that were doing it really were not comfortable with doing it anymore.
I get it.
Yeah.
Where are we at here? Dave?
Special activity.
Security.
Oh, security.
Security, Labor Day weekend, we did have to make a decision on what we were going to do with with the swimming area for Labor Day weekend. The storm hit, I guess it was on a Wednesday, Thursday maybe. Wednesday it was, because we were closed Thursday and Friday. The park did not have any power. Office did. There was a little bit of an issue with the generator, again, at the office and at the extension office. So Missy did reach out to the company that the county contracts with to come in to take a look to see what is going on there. Jack had to physically do something with the switch in the generator to get it running, but it should kick in automatically. It's just something isn't right. So that company, Missy, did follow up with them yesterday to make sure that we're on their schedule so we can get this rectified before the winter time hits.
Did you lose power recently?
We were without power. The park was without power following the Ida storm event for a day and a half, more than a day and a half. We were without power on Thursday, and then on Friday we finally got power back about 12 noon, somewhere around there. Which, I was talking with one of the linemen, to see, what his thoughts are when he expected power to be restored, and at that point he told me he expected it in about an hour, which was good because we had a bunch of campers checking in for Labor Day weekend. So it was off at some point Wednesday night, and then we got it back on Friday afternoon for the weekend, for Labor Day weekend. But even with the power being back on, there was concerns with the water levels and the water depth. So we did keep it closed on Saturday. Sunday I had looked at it. There wasn't many people at the park on on Sunday.
It was a
So
bad weather day, Sunday.
yeah, it rained, but it was more like a drizzly rain. It was enough to keep people away where we could, give the lake another day to recuperate and, get the water levels to recede more. I did come in Monday morning. When I came in Monday morning after we made the decision to go with it for Labor Day, which is, I was on the fence with it as to which way to go with it. Lifeguard coverage did factor in. I reached out to the lifeguards that Sunday just to make sure that the 3 that were on the schedule were definitely gonna be there, and they did commit and said that they would be in. So with the lifeguard coverage, we opened late for Labor Day, and when I looked at it Monday morning, the water levels receded quite a bit actually from the day before. Bob, you were there. You said it was pretty
You could
deep.
actually see it go down during the day.
Yeah.
You could,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it worked out, worked out well. We had a light crowd on Labor Day, but the pavilions, I don't think any of the pavilions were rented, but we were able to have it open for one last time. I know a lot of the regulars, they appreciated it. I was talking to them on the beach towards the end of the day, so it worked out well. What do you say? It was like 9 feet deep.
Yeah, the one corner where the one rope meets the back rope. I always go out there to see how
And
deep
see,
it is.
I was
And
wondering if
it was
someone-
like, with my hand above
Yeah.
my head, it was still over the top of the, yeah.
Yeah.
And Dave and I were trying to find a volunteer to do that. Because we were talking about it, we were going back and forth. Yeah.
So it was deeper than it normally was, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but not nearly what it was
Put
before.
ankle weights on to do that?
No, I just go down. I do that every day I go there. I go to that one corner because that's like the deepest part there. And I always see how deep it is.
Dave, I have a question. Backing up a little bit, I wanted to ask this and I forgot. What is Whiteco Incorporated?
Wipeco, that's where we get the, I think the wipes that they use to clean the, cleaning the bathrooms. I
I don't
think,
think any of them are finding their way into
They're-
our,
nah, I talked to the guys about that, Earl. They don't flush any of that stuff down the, down the toilets. They make sure they don't do that. Yeah. It's also other janitorial supplies. It's a
Right,
company that sells janitorial supplies, so that's one thing I believe they purchase is the wipes.
Dave, talking about Labor Day weekend on Saturday, did we have, and I do believe it was Saturday, 'cause I think I was out here that afternoon, was a trolley issued a citation? Probably maybe between 2 and 4 in the afternoon.
Not that I'm aware, by who, the Fish and Boat
I think it would
Commission?
have been, no, I actually think it would have been Mark, because I think I came in, Mark was coming on, Sam was on, but I got a call the next day from a trolley driver who said he was issued a citation. Supposedly, he went down to the boat launch because bladder issues, being an older gentleman, as the, a few of those, so he parked there as he went into the comfort station, to take it for a couple minutes.
To go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And I guess, obviously while he's in the bathroom, all his Indian folks jumped out and were taking pictures, but, he's pretty quickly in and out of there.
Right.
But he said, he was issued a citation. Now, again, I didn't verify with Mark or whoever else, but I just wonder if indeed that did occur.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
I know that when Scott called yesterday and we talked about his time on the lake,
Yeah.
he brought up about the trolley and said that Mark had called him
They might have been talking about that.
and called him that the trolley was at Boat Launch A. And
Yeah.
I mean, to me, if you have to stop and go to the bathroom, you stop and go to the
Right,
bathroom.
yeah, no, that's how I would be too, again.
But as far as him being issued a citation,
Okay, yeah.
I'm not aware of that. I know Scott did tell me that Mark had called him about the trolley being down there, and then he had questions. I guess I don't know if he spoke with Wayne or somebody, but as far as the agreement goes with the county, they stop up at the top there and they turn around.
Yeah.
why wouldn't he be allowed down there? I mean,
That I guess
not
that's
go
a
down there, is there a rule?
Well, I think that's the point is, you know, if a guy has to, a guy or girl has to go to the bathroom,
Yeah,
you
better than
know,
on
that's,
the trolley.
that's the vehicle he's in, you know,
Yeah.
now it just so happens he has 25 folks in the back, you know, that happens, as long as it's not a habit where, you know, they're trying to circumvent.
Right.
I will say that, and I was looking at the contract, and I know where we showed where they were gonna stop, and basically they go around the Q-tip, they just go right around. What transpired, and refresh my memory, why we didn't stick with them moving through the park and having the pickup right kinda across from the booth? Because remember, that was the original concept?
Yeah, but then it was like with the traffic issues and the backup, you know, with the fact that
Yeah.
Beltsville, we were anticipating them being
Right.
closed more often
Yeah.
because of the restrictions they were putting in
Right.
place. And they were closed,
Yeah.
you know, a lot more than
Yeah.
what they normally
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah.
So to kind of get them out of line quicker and
Right.
move on, that
Yeah.
was the idea.
Yeah.
That's why we changed it.
How much was the fine?
I don't know, and that's what I said, you know, our guys, that's one side of the story. The guy who was driving the trolley who
Right.
called me, so I don't know. The reason I bring this up, I mean, I think part of the reason why we accepted the trolley coming out here was to highlight Mock Chunk Lake Park, right? Because again, we wanna promote it even to outside non-residents, we wanna let them know what's here, entice them to come camping, come swimming or whatever. And my observation is, by what they're currently doing, we're really not selling the park. Because I'll tell you what, you do that little loop during this time of year with the foliage, you don't see anything.
No, you
You
don't
don't
see
see
the
the
light, right?
beauty. You know, so maybe in the late winter, we should have a conversation about, you know, do we have some flexibility when there's a lot of traffic, they just, you know, they make the call,
Well,
right?
this goes back to what we're
Yeah.
talking about with the lights folks, with
Yeah.
Scott, with the
Yeah.
Fish Commission. He nixed that, so do we have the jurisdiction solely to, I have no problem with that, I think it would be
I
fine.
just want them to come through the park, I just want them to loop through,
Oh,
like the initial
oh, okay,
plan,
not-
the initial plan. Hey,
Oh.
going down the boat launch, I want them to see the
So
beach,
just-
go
I
through
see.
the woods a
Go through-
little bit, and.
And go out
Well,
the engine.
well, can the,
the treadles, yeah.
can the agreement
Well,
be
do it, that's
amended?
better, because then they're not gonna
Yeah,
go
we
to
can,
the
we can
bathroom.
amend it.
Because now is not an issue. you know.
No, I think we just need to have that discussion, again, because we do want it to benefit, quote unquote, the county.
Right.
And the county is, you know, highlighting this beautiful park and treasure we have. Now, we don't wanna promote it too much, or, you know, we'll
Well,
have
no,
a
as you're
reverse,
saying,
but-
it's off-season, you know,
Yeah.
off-season, they can do it during prime time. So-
Yeah.
Yeah, now's not the issue with the traffic and,
Right,
and
yeah.
you know, the beach parking lots are
Yeah.
empty. So if they wanted to go in
Yeah.
now and have their trolley stop, you know, right where the open
Yeah.
open field is, you
Yeah.
know, they could
And
do
then,
that.
You know what, they pretty much just move through, you know,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's pretty much, you know, I don't see them regularly stopping along their routes, they're pretty much just
Yeah.
moving through.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen from the trolley
Yeah.
too. They're in and out,
Yeah.
You gotta
and it's
get close to all the lights if they're gonna be in,
Yeah,
in
right.
that period of time.
That's
too.
right, so you
So these
start-
things are new, so.
Yeah, so, again, just.
it seems like more of a sightseeing type of a, you know.
Yeah, it is, it really is. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, there's not
so-
people grabbing their beach towels and coming to the
No.
beach right now, you know, on the trolley. And that's-
So would the county be looking to change the agreement this year? Because he plans on running through, you know, through October, I believe,
You
right?
know, he does,
Or just,
we'll have to see what Mr. Murphy's thinking, you know, and, you know, if he really wants to make a modification, will
Yeah.
come to us and ask us, but, you know, again, Mr. Murphy may not recognize, again, that there's no value added coming out the Lentz Trail and doing that little loop. Obviously, I know some of his drivers talk to me about it all the time. I said, well, you know, you have a boss, he just needs to come, you know, talk to the park and, you know,
Right.
through the park, talk to the commissioners if he wants to make a change. So I just raise that as, you know, something that's being brought up to me.
Yeah,
so.
well, coming into the fall, the trees are nice on Lentz Trail, so that's,
Yeah, that's right.
So
And
we're-
it's beautiful in the
Yeah.
park too,
yeah.
you know, through that little 1 mile loop.
Oh yeah, we get quite a few people come in and
Yeah,
they'll stop
just-
at the beach area,
Yeah.
parking lots, and you know, sit out on the beach, look at the scenery.
Did you ever see that trolley drop people off to stay there?
Sure. Yeah,
Where at?
down Bolt Launch A.
Oh, and Did you?
But my position on that, and
Yeah.
I explained it.
Yeah.
That's the county's agreement is to stop up at the
Yeah.
up at the top. That's the agreement. That's
Yeah.
where the sign is, and
Yeah.
Scott had questioned me about it,
Yeah.
and I explained to Scott
Yeah.
that's not what the county agreed to,
Right,
and
yeah.
that the boat launch, Jay, that's his jurisdiction, and if
Yeah.
he has an issue with it, then he's got to figure out what he's going to do with it.
Yeah.
And, I think maybe it came to that when Mark called him and said,
Right,
"Hey,
yeah.
this trolley's down here,
Yeah.
stopped here," and what conversation he did say he had a good conversation with him, Mr. Humphreys.
Yeah.
So and whether they're going down there to go to the bathroom or what they're going down there for, I don't know, but yeah, I
But
think
coming back to what he's saying, remember years ago how you always parked the charter buses in the field there? I
Yeah.
mean, the trolley could pull in there,
by the open field area.
yeah,
there,
and let the people off, but then, yeah, you would have to somehow charge them
Right, admission.
admission for coming
Yeah,
in, but
and he's on a really tight schedule.
Right.
You know what I mean? The schedule that he has set up is to keep moving.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, at least right now, built in, 10 minutes at, let's say, the Jim Thorpe Monument, 10 minutes at the lake or anything like that.
No, he's already behind schedule,
Yeah,
like from
and
what
matter
I've
of fact,
seen.
he cut this stop off,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't come out here anymore, because again, that extra couple miles,
Yeah,
impacted the timing
yeah, I
and
was
stuff
gonna,
like that.
I was
I can't
wondering,
speak of it.
so they came out here and went back to Jim.
Well,
They
that's
came
stopping
and
also,
back.
Earl, Penn's Peak.
I can't
Burning up.
imagine running that vehicle up that.
Well, that's the problem.
Wow.
The mechanical issues
Oh, yeah,
associated
they're
with
gonna
going
wear
up
it out.
Connors
Yeah,
with
it's
those
good
trolleys.
view,
But that was the issue. It was the Beltsville closing more frequently,
Yeah.
the traffic backing up, and
Yeah.
just trying to get them in and out of there quicker.
Where are we at here?
but-
The
We're
tro-
still on park security.
The trolley.
Yeah.
We didn't really have much security wise. I mean, we had an abandoned vehicle here at the environmental center that was called in. It was towed. It later came back. It was involved in a hit and run incident in Summerhill. Rick, you had asked last meeting if we used the boat at all. Since then, knock on wood, hopefully we don't have to use it anymore. But we did. They did assist the boat rental with the paddle boat. Our park rangers. And other than that, the schedule with the lifeguards kind of like it fell apart a little bit where we didn't have enough to charge admission. We lost some days due to the rain, but we had a good season overall as far as budget wise with our daily admission fees. I think we missed it by I think it was like 98% of our budget we hit. As far as our daily admissions for the year. So overall, we had a good season, and I did thank the lifeguards that were there the last day to help us out and close the season out in a safe
Wet
manner.
August.
It was kind of yeah.
A wet summer.
Yeah. That's all I had under security. No issues. No special activity requests. We don't have any. We're waiting on one. Alzheimer's Association, they did, Missy got the information this morning. We can't put it on the agenda. It has to be listed on the agenda 24 hours in advance. And they're looking at doing their memory walk. They've been doing it for years, October 3rd. So that hits before the next board meeting. So I don't know if we have to have a special meeting on that. But it's before the next October 3rd. The day they want to do it falls before the next board meeting.
I wouldn't think so. As long as they get everything in order, I don't think we should have a special
They've
meeting.
had a past, they've been doing it with us
Yeah.
previous years.
Yeah, they've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you remember
Very
the
good.
memory?
Yeah, they have like a memory board there with pictures,
nice.
family members, friends, and
I think
actually
they-
one of the benches we got donated is from she was one of the original organizers of the memory walk.
No, it's supportive of that.
That was when Frank Roof died, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing that. If everything is in order, I would just say okay.
And just ratify it at your next
Yeah.
meeting.
According to Act 65 though, if you wanna add something to the agenda, you bring it up to a vote. And if we all vote to add it to the agenda, we can add it to the agenda today.
If it's de minimis, right, it basically, yeah, there's a kind of a subjective threshold of what can be added, right?
Right, so
Yeah.
technically, we could do this now.
Well, we don't have the special activity request yet.
They don't have.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, yeah. Yeah. Did you guys talk about that we didn't talk about that, have we? About,
No, I didn't.
That requires, we've been posting agendas since COVID or more or less, no, a little bit before that, last year and a half, we've been posting agendas 24-hour prior. That was, our initiative. But now, by law, we have to post the agendas 24 hours prior, and there's a lot of restrictions on making any amendment within that time frame Bob was talking to it. So we should probably just get a copy of the act for the next meeting, or send it out so everyone's familiar with it. That'd be good. How about, you wanna talk about the speaker system, the grant?
Oh, the
safety grant?
PA system, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
We did talk about it at the last meeting, and we were approved for use of funding through the P-Corps Loss Prevention Grant Program.
Yep.
I don't have the number in front of me, but I think it was like $1,600 some dollars
Yeah,
for a new PA system for the beach area, so that we can make periodic announcements throughout the day, reminding visitors of their the rules, some of the more common rules and regulations. Boats, sometimes we have them coming in too close to the ropes to kind of keep them back away from the swimming area, the rope area. Help them locate
we
missing
streamlined
children,
it.
like that
The
one
system.
day.
Muzak.
Music.
Matter of fact, looks unfortunately not dissimilar to the motor we're waiting for the safety boat, which we're still waiting.
Right.
It'll be November before that system comes in.
The PA system.
Right.
Yeah.
And what we will ask is that park maintenance installs the speakers and everything, or the system, and then IT will come out and make sure from the IT side that the amplifier, whatever it is operational. But we don't want IT guys coming out to
Do wiring.
do the wiring or put the speakers.
Right.
We'd ask that park maintenance does that, and then they can come out and just boom, make sure it's fully operational and working.
Is the communications based in the office then?
No, it's in the first aid station in the
First
back
aid.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lifeguards will use it to make weather announcements. Say if they hear thunder, they gotta close the beach, and then to let people know when the expected reopening time is. Because every time they hear thunder, it's another half hour all over again. So they'll use it for weather closing announcements. At the end of the day, we would make an announcement that the park is closing in 1 hour. And then again at 6:30, the park is closing in a half hour, just to kind of get people the understanding that it's closing. It helps them get out of there on time. Helps the rangers with clearing the beach and swimming area at the end of the day.
And you used to welcome the people. At the
Welcoming
beginning.
you, yeah, I'm
Welcome
sure
to
you
Mock
heard
Chunk,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could be like Wildwood Boardwalk at 7 in the morning, play the Star Spangled Banner, that'll be your job.
Yeah. Yeah, that were welcoming announcements.
Yeah,
We think we did one in the morning and then in the middle of the afternoon. Generally, when you have a lot of people arriving, it was nice to be able to do that. And of course, some want it announced every half hour on the hour, which I think is a little bit too much. But we used it quite a bit. Yeah. So thank you, Commissioner,
No, I remember
for helping
Rhonda
with that.
mentioned it to me yesterday. So.
How about correspondence?
Nothing under correspondence.
I'll entertain a meeting to adjourn
I'll
unless
make that
somebody
motion.
has something.
Okay, pending motion.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for you. Then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, I'm ready for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Properly moved and second. Any more questions? All in favor? Aye.